Coming up on FYI, American teens predict the new US president. Why do we wear poppies in November? And thousands mark the festival of Diwali. First, the US presidential election is just around the corner, and it's been all over the news here in the UK. So what's the big deal? Well, every 4 years, people in the USA vote for who they want to be their president. The election is dominated by the two main political parties, the Democrats and the Republicans. The Democrat candidate is the current Vice President, Kamala Harris, and the Republican candidate is the former President, Donald Trump. The two have very different views on major issues, like climate change, crime, and immigration. And because the United States is one of the most powerful countries on the planet, whoever is voted in as president will affect the world. As in the UK, under 18s in the USA don't get to vote. But FYI is where young people do get a say. We heard from American teenagers on who they think will win on election day and what they want from their future president.
I think the next US president should care more about the environment because in the future, climate change might affect us more than it does now.
Climate change has become a really serious and scary issue lately. So in the future, I want a president that will really be able to handle climate change and look at it as a real issue.
I want to see more wind turbines and solar panels and not fossil fuels like coal and gas.
I would like to see more diversity and inclusivity within Congress in terms of representing like race, gender, sexual orientation.
I hope the new president joins in a fight for equality, and that a big step towards equality would be the first female president of color.
I live in a very diverse community and there's many cultures around me, and I want a president that is able to listen to multiple perspectives and use that ability to help bring peace. I think the next president is going to be Kamala Harris.
I think Trump because he has more experience, and Kamala is still kind of the vice president right now, so if she wins, I don't really know what's gonna happen.
What I want in the future president is a peaceful transition of power, and for each candidate to respect when they've lost and try to improve the country.
Thanks, guys. Now, for your favourite part of the show, fake news or fact? Can you work out if this next story's true? We saw reports that the population of a village in Japan has gone down so much that the residents have replaced people with puppets to help reduce feelings of loneliness. Fake news or fact? We'll let you know later in the show. You've probably noticed I'm wearing a poppy, and they're all over the country in the lead up to Remembrance Day. Here in the UK, we're really lucky to live in peace, but it wasn't always the case. Maya has more info on why we wear poppies for Remembrance.
Every November, our country comes together to celebrate Remembrance Day. Poppies pop up everywhere, and you may have even taken part in a 1-minute silence at your school. It's been going on for nearly 100 years, but have you ever stopped to wonder why it's still so important? Well, it all began way before you and I were born, so we're going to need to travel back in time for this one and check out where things started. You've heard of World War I, right? It began in 1914 and ended in 1918, and millions of soldiers were killed. The war ended at exactly 11 a.m. on the morning of the 11th of November, after both sides agreed to stop fighting. This is called an armistice. 1 year later, King George V asked the public to observe the very first 2-minute silence at 11 a.m. to remember all those who died. Today, Remembrance Day honours not just those who were killed or injured in World War I, but in all conflicts, like the more recent ones in the Falklands, Iraq, or Afghanistan. Can you imagine what it must be like to go to war? I can't, but someone who does is JJ Chalmers. He was a former Royal Marine Commando and served in Afghanistan. Hi JJ, so what was it like in Afghanistan and were you scared?
There are moments in Afghanistan that are scary. You're in a war zone and it is dangerous, but I was well trained, I was experienced, and most importantly, I was surrounded by some of the best people that I could ever want to be with, who were my best friends, but they were also other Royal Marine Commandos who looked after me and I looked after them.
So, can you tell us a bit about what happened to you in 2011?
Sure, Maya. In 2011, when I was in Afghanistan, I was wounded by an improvised explosive device. So I was caught in a bomb blast and it hurt me really badly. And it left me disabled for the rest of my life, but I survived. Unfortunately, though, it took the lives of 2 of my friends and also our Afghan interpreter who was working with us. But when I see people wearing poppies on their chests every November, it reminds me of not just what I've been through, but more importantly, all the people that have been there with me and how many people have helped and supported me along the way.
But why is the poppy the symbol of Remembrance Day? Well, I've been looking into that too. It turns out, after all the fighting stopped in World War I, the countryside in Northern Europe was left devastated by battle. And what was the first thing to appear across the empty battlefields? Yep, you've guessed it, red poppies. Now, every November, the poppy is a symbol of remembrance and hope for a peaceful future. Millions of them are sold every year. And you might not know this, but the money they raise goes to help war veterans and their families. All this makes me wonder what Remembrance Day must be like for someone who served in the armed forces. JJ, what do you usually do on Remembrance Day?
That is a great question, Maya. I do different things on Remembrance Day. Sometimes I like to be by myself, just with my thoughts. So I might go for a long walk, certainly like to get outside. But sometimes I like to be with others, whether that's people that I served with in the military, or my family that have been with me, not just when I was in Afghanistan, throughout my recovery, and most importantly, still now. I make sure that I take a moment to be very grateful.
Are you able to tell me about what the day means to you?
Remembrance Day is a really important day to me, and I think it should be important to everybody. It's not just about not forgetting. There isn't a day that goes by that I don't think of my friends who sadly lost their lives. But it's actually about taking time to remember. It's a day that I like to think about, not just what I've been through, but what so many people have been through throughout history for us.
Hearing your story really helps me understand why this day is so important. Thank you for talking to me, JJ.
No, thank you, Maya. Thank you for asking the questions. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Looking into Remembrance Day has been a real eye-opener, hasn't it? It may have begun more than 100 years ago, but it's still so important that we all make time to think about what servicemen and women have sacrificed and how they've helped us live in peace and freedom.
Thanks, Maya. And for more video explainers on loads of important topics, just head to our website at first.news/FYI. Check out this impressive whale shark in an aquarium in China that's been causing controversy. It's been all over the news because some customers were shocked that the aquarium's star attraction is actually a robot. Apparently, some people demanded refunds because they were expecting to see a real whale shark. The aquarium says it used a bionic shark because Chinese law bans the trade in whale sharks, which are endangered. Many of you will have been celebrating Diwali this week. So what's the festival all about? Well, Iara joined thousands at London's biggest Diwali celebration. Here she is with more info.
Diwali, the festival of lights, celebrated by millions of Hindus, Sikhs and Jains across the world. It takes place on the darkest night of the year. Lamps are lit to show that light is more powerful than darkness.
Diwali also celebrates new beginnings.
So let's rewind to the beginning of the day. I've been invited to this year's Diwali celebrations here in Trafalgar Square.
To find out more about this amazing festival, I'm catching up with Ayush and Sia. This is the first time I've celebrated Diwali, so what would you say I need to know?
Well, Diwali for me means spending time with family, enjoying it, and also the fireworks.
It's all about enjoying and celebrating the story of it as well, I think.
The story of Rama and Sita is very important to the Festival of Light. They were married, but the demon king, Ravana, kidnapped Sita. With the help of the Monkey King, Rama rescues her after a fierce battle, ultimately defeating Ravana, showing that good can conquer evil.
Happy Diwali! This festival is just spectacular. All of the dancing, the choreography and the culture, and it's so good to see how everyone comes together.
My favorite thing has been watching the beautiful performances and actually trying them myself.
My favorite thing was seeing everybody so happy, celebrating Diwali all together. And it's always fun because we come with our friends and we just have a great time. We watch the stage and we just have lovely food.
It's really nice to share Diwali and share our culture as well with everyone else. Like, we've got a good turnout today as well.
And as the night falls, the lights come out.
Whoa! So talk to me about why light is so special during Diwali.
In the story of the Ramayana, which Diwali is based around, the people lit candles or diyas to welcome the goddess Sita and Ram back home.
So diyas are little candles that you light, and it's often done with your family and sometimes your friends. It is welcoming prosperity and good luck into your home.
It's such a beautiful and colourful festival, and I really enjoyed learning about Diwali with Ayush and Sia.
Thanks, Ciara. So, did you work out this week's fake news or fact story? Well, reports that a village in Japan has replaced people with puppets is fact. As younger generations have moved away, the population of the village has dropped to below 60, with only one child now living there. So to stop feeling so lonely, residents have dotted puppets around the place. There are now so many, they may even outnumber the residents. I did not think that one was true. And if you want to work on your fake news spotting skills, just head to our website for loads more fake news or fact stories. And we'll see you next week for more of the news that matters to you.